PySpark in Databricks is a powerful tool that combines the flexibility of Python with the distributed computing capabilities of Apache Spark, which allows users to efficiently process and analyze large data sets, perform complex transformations, and leverage a wide range of libraries for machine learning, SQL-like queries, and graph processing, all within an integrated and user-friendly environment. In this first of many videos to come on Learn PySpark on Databricks series, I'm going to show you how we can use the GroupBy and the WithColumn PySpark functions to compute sales and percentage of sales by product and region in Databricks Notebook. So let's understand each of the functions and its parameters. Now I'm going to be starting off with the GroupBy function. So we can see we have the pyspark.sql.dataframe. The name of the function, the GroupBy. So this function basically groups data frame using a specified columns. So we can run some aggregation on top of those columns. And then for the parameters, we have the list of the columns, and then we also have the columns to GroupBy. So each element should be in the column name, a string or an expression, column, or a list of them. And this basically returns a grouped data by a given columns. Now, if you're familiar with Excel, these are similar to the sum ifs, average ifs, count ifs, conditional function. So let's say the second function, the with column. Again, we have to call this function within a specified data frame. So this basically returns a new data frame by adding a column or replacing an existing column that combines or that has the same name. And basically, we have these two parameters. We have the column name as a string, and then we have the column that is the expression for the new column. And this also returns a new or a replaced column. Now, we've seen all of this definition. Let's see how we can do this in the Databricks Notebook environment. So if you're new to this channel, please click on the subscribe button and toggle on the bell icon to be notified of new videos. For this demonstration, I'm going to use this Learn PySpark on Databricks Notebook, and I've got data in my unit catalog. I've got this sales underscore catalog, and I've got the sales underscore schema, and then I've got the sales table. Now, to preview the content of the sales table, I'm going to come to this next tab, and then I want to go to the catalog, and then I want to go to the sales catalog, sales schema, and when I click on that, we can see the overview on this side. So this is a delta table, and then we can see the popularity. This simply means how many times this has been queried in the last 30 days, and then we can see the last updated, the size. Now when I come to the sample data, we can see we have the order date, region, subcategory, product, and the sales. Now when I come to the insights, we can see the captured usage of this table over the last 30 days. So this tells us how many times it has been queried. Now, because we're going to be using the PySpark language for our data processing, it is important we have a cluster up and running. So I'm going to come to the compute, and I've got this my cluster, which is currently running. Now, if you don't have this, just click on create compute, and then provide all the details, and then click on create compute, and in about 5 minutes or thereabouts, the compute should be fully ready. Now in our case, I'm going to use the my cluster compute, which is up and running. So let's come back here. So the first thing we need to do is to read the data from the catalog and the schema to a Spark data frame, and then we'll carry on with the data processing. So I'm going to come in and just press enter. Now I need a variable, and I can use whatever name. I'm going to call this one sales underscore table equals, and I want to use the spark.sql and then open brackets. Now we need to write the SQL in form of a string, so this must be surrounded inside a double quote. So inside double quotes, I can go on and write my standard SQL. So select star from, and then I'm going to provide the fully qualified namespace, which must start from the name of the catalog, followed by the name of the schema, and then the name of the table. So the name of the catalog is sales underscore catalog. So sales underscore catalog, and then I'm going to put in a period, and then the name of the second is sales underscore schema, period, and then the name of the table. So this is how we can write a fully qualified namespace in Databricks Notebook, and then we can just press enter and use the display method to display the new sales underscore table variable we declared. Now we don't want to use too much of compute, so I can use the dot limit, and let's just say the top 2 records in that table. So press Control Enter to run. And there we go. So we have the order date region subcategory. We have the product and the sales, which is cool. Now, for our data processing, we need to import some of the libraries from the functions. So I'm going to come in and just call some of the libraries we needed. So I'm going to say from pypsark.sql.functions, we want to import some AVG for average, max for maximum, min for minimum, and then we need a call. Now we need quite a lot, but I'm just going to stick with this 5 or thereabout function. So I can press Ctrl Enter to run the code. So this executed nicely. Now, don't forget the name of our data frame is now stored inside this sales underscore table. So I'm going to copy that to the clipboard and I'm going to come here. So basically, we want to compute the total sales, average sales, max sales, min sales, and the percentage of total sales by product and region. Now, this is where we're going to start using the group by function, and then we're going to use the with column function later on. So let's just see how we can compute the total sales by product and the region first. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to declare a variable called sales by product and region. Now this is going to be a variable equals. Now I'm going to provide the name of the data frame, which is sales underscore table, and then I'm going to use the dot and call the group by function. Now the B must be capital letter B, and then we need to provide a call. So for this, we need to provide the columns that we want to group by. So I'm going to provide the region, or let me start with the product. And then outside the double quotes, I'm going to provide another double quote, and then we can provide the region. And then we can use the period and then use the aggregate function, open the bracket. And then for this, we can call the sum function, and then we can use other columns. So I'm going to say sum and then open the bracket, and I'm going to call the call function that we're importing from here, and then open the bracket. And then we can specify the name of the numerical column we want to sum. So I'm going to sum the sales. Now, don't forget we have the sales as the name of the original column. So sales. Now, at this point, I'm just going to come here and then press enter to break the code down. And let me just align this properly to make it look nice. Okay. Okay, now at this point, we can see this actually giving us a potential indentation error, no problem. Now I'm going to come in and put in a backward slash, so backward slash, and that's going to take care of the indentation problem. So we have the sum call, and then we have the sales column. Now I'm going to alias the column, the new column as total sales. I'm going to come in, put in period, alias, and then I can open the bracket inside double quote. I'm going to call this on total sales, and then I can just go on and display this. So let's just use the display method as we carry on. So I'm going to just copy all of these and then Control C and Control V and press Control Enter to run the code. So let me just move that a little bit. Oh yeah, there's a mistake here. Display, Control Enter. Okay, this worked fine. So we can see we've seen how to use the group by function, similar to the sum effects function in Excel worksheet formulas. So we can see the total sales for the East and then for the laptop is 40,812 and so on and so forth. So we have this calculation up and running. Now, I want to move to calculating the average. Now, in order to make it easier, I'm going to quickly just move this down a little bit, this code down, and let me just move this line of the code down. Okay, so we're going to isolate this sum, and then we can create the average underneath, the max, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to just select all of this code and just open the bracket. So there we go. So you can see this is now isolated inside this aggregate function, and then I can put in a comma here and press enter and open another bracket, and then we can use the AVG for average. So open the bracket and I can call the call, open the bracket inside the double quote. I want to call the sales column and come here, put in a comma, and then I'm going to call this one alias, and I can open the bracket and call this one average sales. When I press Control Enter to run the code, let's see what gave us amazing. So you can see another column is now added to the calculation. So this is going to be the average sales. And then we can continue in that line, put in a comma, I can press Enter, open the bracket to isolate the max. So max, open another bracket, open the call, open another bracket, and I want to call inside double quote the original sales column, put in the dot, and then we can see the alias here, and I'm going to inside double quote call this one max sales, and then press Control Enter to run the code, and there we go. So this, the largest individual sales in the East region for laptop is 9,360, and then we can put in a comma and undo the main. So open another bracket, main function, open another bracket, call the call function, and then inside double quote, I'm going to call the sales column, and then I want to put in a dot, and we can use the alias, open another bracket, and inside double quote, I want to call this one main sales, and control enter. So you can say we have the main. So PySpark is actually not difficult. The main thing is to pay attention to the order of your brackets. Make sure you are able to provide the brackets in the right place, and it's really easier to understand all of this if you break your code down so you can see what's going on. Now that's cool. Now what about if I want to, or maybe I want to order this total sales in descending order or the ascending order? I can of course do that. So I can import another function, call this one descend and ascend, and I can press Ctrl Enter to commit in order to rate this in the next cell below. So I can put in a period there, and I can use the order by, again the B must be capital letter B, and then I can use the descend function and open the bracket. Now I want to order the total sales in the descending order, that is from the largest to the smallest. Now I'm going to be doing that on top of the alias that we provided, not on the original column. So inside double quote, I'm going to call the total sales, and then press Control Enter. And when I scroll down a little bit, there we go. So you can see this has been ordered from the largest to the smallest. What about if I want to do from the smallest to the largest, that is the reverse? I can get rid of this ascending and use the descending and provide the ascending order, press Ctrl Enter, and there we go. So this is ordering from the smallest to the largest. So let's just put it back in the descending order and press Ctrl Enter, and that worked beautifully. Now we have all this total sales, average sales, max, main, by the product. Now we want to move to the percentage, which is a little bit more technical. So for that, I'm going to come here and then just create another calculation. I just want to call this one sales, or let me just call this one all time sales. You can use whatever variable you like, equals. Now we're going to be picking that also from the original sales underscore table data frame that the data is actually attached to. So Control V dot, and then we can use the aggregate function, open the bracket, and then we can call the sum function, open the bracket, and we're going to call the call function, open the bracket, and then want to pass in the same sales. So inside double quote, the original sales column, and then we can provide an alias here, put in a comma. I can see where I'm putting the alias. I'm actually looking at the order of the brackets. So you can say this is the purple bracket and this is the purple opening bracket. So it must be after here. So I'm going to call this one alias and then open the bracket. And then I'm going to call this one sales by all time. You can use whatever name you like, and then I'm going to come here and use a function called the collect function. Now the collect function will retrieve the result of the aggregation from the Spark data frame as a list of row objects. So I'm going to open the bracket and then come here and open a square bracket and just type in 0. Now the 0 is going to access the first row object in the collected result, as there is only one row in the aggregated output. And then I'm going to use again a square bracket. Now the square bracket is going to retrieve the value associated with the sales by all time. So I can copy all of these, and inside this I can open a double quote and Ctrl V to paste. So we need this and this to perform our percentage of sales calculation. But let's for now see this. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste in a Ctrl V and press Ctrl Enter. And this is going to give us the total sales across all time period, which is 928,494, which is fine. Now the final part is to move down here, and we want to create the percentage of sales variable and with the calculation. So I'm going to call this one percentage of sales, and then I'm going to just do equals. Now, because we want to actually attach the percentage of sales to this already established calculation, the sales by product and region. So I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to come here and Ctrl V, and then I'm going to use the dot with column. Now this is where the with column is coming in. So we're actually adding an extra calculated column into an already computed total sales by average and so on and so forth. So I'm going to open the brackets. Now the first argument when you say is to provide the call name. So this must be a string. So inside double quote, I'm going to call this one percentage of cells, and then I'm going to come here and put in a comma. So we can move to the next argument, which is the call. So for this, I'm going to break this down so that you can understand and see what's going on. So I'm going to open the bracket for this, and when I open the bracket, I'm going to call the call, open another bracket, and then I want to call the total sales here, this total sales alias. I'm going to come here inside double quotes, Control V to paste, and come outside this bracket here, and we want to divide by the all-time sales. I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to place in here, and then I can multiply by 100. So basically, this is going to be the numerator, and then this is going to be the denominator. So let's go ahead and press Control Enter to run the code. Okay, oh, I need to change this. I'm going to copy this percentage of sales and use that in the display. Control V, press enter. And when I scroll down, let's say amazing. Let me close this tab. So we have the percentage of sales, what is cool. But you can see we have lots of extraneous decimals. So we need to find a way to handle all those decimals. So for that, I'm going to go back and import what is called the round function. So this is going to allow us to round to a specific number of digits, and then I'm going to just import concat, which allows us to concatenate, and I'm going to import late to perform literal calculation. So press Ctrl Enter, and then I'm going to come back here. So we have this. So I'm going to come here again, select all this part of the code, and I can open another bracket, and then I'm going to just carefully type in the round function here, and then I'm going to come after this 100 inside there, put in a comma, and then we want to round to 2 decimal places. So that's how we can use the round. Press Ctrl Enter to run the code. Let's move down. Let's see what happened. Amazing. So we've rounded the percentage of sales into 2 decimal. Now, this is actually not enough, because it's going to be lovely if we can say the percentage of sales with the percentage formatting. So how do we do that? Now we can use the concatenate to achieve that. So I'm going to come here, and I'm going to just use, or let me just move this down a little bit, and use the concat function here, concat, and open the bracket, and I'm going to get rid of this closing bracket, and I can come here and I can put in a comma and press enter. So I'm going to use the late here and open the bracket, and inside double quotes I'm going to provide the percentage formatting, and then I can close the bracket for the concat and press Control Enter. Let's see what it gave us. Amazing. So we have the percentage of sales in a proper percentage formatting, which is absolutely cool. Like I say, we have, for example, 6.66, 6.25, and so on and so forth. So this is how we can use the GroupBy and the WithColumn to perform an high-level calculation in Databricks Notebook. So I trust you enjoyed this video. If you do, like, comment, and follow me for more video, because there's a lot to come on this Learn PySpark series. I'm just going to help you to learn all these intricacies, how we can get more familiarized with this amazing language called PySpark. So thank you for watching. Bye for now.